All right. Good Saturday morning in beautiful downtown Crestline in the in the San Bernardino Mountains of Southern California's Inland Empire. These beautiful mountains need some rain and snow. The trees need it. Happy trees. It's kind of been a little foggy in the mornings. That gives the trees some moisture through their leaves. Yes, trees can absorb moisture through their leaves. I'm a little low on energy. Um, I went to Loma Linda, a university and teaching hospital, and they looked at my hip. They could not look at my spine during the same appointment because of my lousy Medicare insurance. So I need to go back to the GP and get another referral, which will actually cost the insurance company more. Another doctor visit and another specialist visit at orthopedic surgery. Relax, no surgery for me, at least not yet. But my hip has been bugging me. Not super painful, just bugging me. Turns out I have bursitis in my hip. The little sac of fluid that forms a cushion was inflamed and, kind of, what's the word? It expanded, it got bigger. So they injected some steroids into the bursa, the little fluid filled sac. But my back hurts like the dickens. Two of my vertebrae are cracked. Not broken, just cracked. T7 and L1. That's the lowest thoracic bone and the highest lumbar bone. And the disc in between them is in trouble. Um, it kind of slipped a little and it's kind of chewed up. So I've got lower back pain and it doesn't like to be touched, but at the same time, it's kind of overpowered by the pain from kidney stones. The GP did find a UTI, urinary tract infection, and gave me antibiotics, but I'm not convinced that the infection is gone. I won't go into detail. The symptoms are icky. Icky. Um, However, I'm doing better. My hip isn't, it wasn't super painful or anything. I was just concerned. And the orthopedic doctor said that the hip making me walk funny because I broke it a year ago, almost a year and a half. Um, that contributed to the spine having an ouchie. The disc slipping and the vertebrae cracking. Anyway, just thought I'd update you a little because I got blown off the line last time I was talking. I guess I shouldn't mention politics or viruses. I'm not convinced that it was YouTube that did it. I think Verizon, who provides my internet, was doing it. So I might switch to a different service if I can manage it. But frankly, I'm on the edge financially as it is. The shutdowns took away the work I could have done over the past 2 years. They would have involved travel, meeting in large groups, staying in hotels, etc. So I do what I can, sell what I can, do virtual speaking engagements, but I've had to accept that I cannot do physical work. I can't lift a carton of milk. I can't walk a whole block. I have to get other people to take my kitchen trash out to the trash barrel. At least my trash barrel has wheels, so I can roll it out. Anyway, I'm just complaining, whining, and fussing now. There's good stuff going on, at least in this community. Today is the Christmas tree lighting and the public bonfire with the fire department in charge, so no danger of it getting out of control. And there's all kinds of activities all over the mountain. These small mountain communities really step up. I won't be going to most of them. There was a stage play in a small venue a couple weeks ago, and everyone there was exposed to COVID, and some got COVID. It's a real disease. It's really serious. Don't take it lightly. I think a little masking and social distancing might have helped, but I don't know. Apparently, the vaccinations aren't all that effective. A certain percentage of COVID patients are fully vaccinated. I think vaccination is a good idea, but I wouldn't force anyone to do it. I got one shot and I couldn't go through those adverse reactions again. It was hell for 10 days and annoying for months. Not going to go there. So apparently I can't fly. I have to wear a mask everywhere, socially distance, and all of that. And I'm not even sick. The Lord blessed me with a robust immune system. You see, I had COVID very early on in the epidemic, and it was very mild. I quarantined myself voluntarily because I didn't know what I had. And, most of the people I hang out with are seniors. And I don't like to hang out with a lot of people anyway. Turned out to be COVID. Very mild case. I just needed a lot of Kleenex. So I have natural immunity, but that doesn't count. So I took a shot, thinking, okay, no big deal. Just a shot in the arm. Boy, was I ever wrong. But not everybody has a bad reaction. It's up to you and your doctor to figure out whether it's for you. It is not up to some bureaucrat sitting at a desk who wasn't even elected. And it isn't up to elected politicians either. It's up to you and your doctor. Anyway, I have to tiptoe around this topic or I'll get knocked off again in the middle of a sentence. Anyway, looks like I have one listener, or YouTube is playing with me again. But really, I don't have a lot to say. I just wanted to get on for a minute. I'm going to have some help with the yard work because I can't do it. I tried raking the leaves, can't do it. My back lets me know, don't do that, lady. I can't pick up my cat. I think she weighs, well, she's over 10 pounds. She's probably close to 20 now. She has to hop up on my lap because I can't pick her up. Anyway, I'm going to be digging out my Christmas sweater and my Santa hat for future podcasts or vlogs or whatever this is. Hi, Tim. Yeah, well, I'm sorry for you, Tim. You took the shot and got sick. Oh, and my brains are fuzzy. I had a severe, not just a rash, but red flushing, like you might get if you have a very high fever. I probably had a fever. Anyway, started at the injection site, traveled to the other arm, and for 10 days I had to put ice packs on my arms. My upper arms got so hot that it hurt my hands to touch them. And after that subsided, I began to notice all the red, itchy rashes starting at the neck, working their way down, front and back, and eventually elbow to wrist on both arms, and eventually my legs, and then my feet. Over a period of months, it just kept traveling all over my body. And I used aspirin, sometimes ibuprofen, which is like almost aspirin, sometimes Alka-Seltzer, which is almost aspirin, and sometimes aspirin. You shouldn't use it when you have the flu, apparently, but I had an allergic reaction, so I took, allergy meds. Well, Tim, the blood clot thing apparently was associated with the Johnson and Johnson vaccine, which is why it is not generally available. But even those were rare, but serious. I mean, who cares if it's rare if you are the one who got it? I don't think I personally need to worry about blood clots. I suffer from what they call chronic cytopenic bleeding. I bruise easily, and I can just bump something lightly or just wash the dishes, and I get these bruises all over my arms and hands, and blood pools up under the skin because my blood doesn't clot very well. It is not the bleeding disease that Queen Victoria's male descendants had, but it's similar. You see, there are other ingredients in the vaccines that they don't tell you about. Early on, the lists of what they call inactive ingredients included some things that aren't listed anymore. But we do know that it has a chemical that's similar to antifreeze, but not the same. And most people have no problem with it, but apparently I have a problem with it. Either that or there's an antibiotic included, and I'm sensitive to all kinds of antibiotics. Oh, and for my back, which is killing me, they cannot give me opiates or opioids or whatever, Vicodin, morphine, all of those nasty things. They all make me vomit. It's no good if the pill doesn't stay down. In the hospital, the IV had morphine. Oh man, I just had to shout and fuss, turn it off. No more morphine. I used 6 barf bags in less than 5 minutes. Anyway, I think, it is, I'm not anti-vax. I don't get the flu shot, mainly because I don't need it. I haven't had the flu since 1969, when the swine flu was killing people all over the place. I had a runny nose. A few years later, they had what they called the Asian flu, and I didn't have any symptoms at all. And yet people around me were seriously ill. But we didn't lock anything down. We didn't have all these crazy restrictions. Life went on. Let's see, I guess Nixon was president. I'm not happy with a lot of the things that Nixon did. But, he gets blamed for the horrible way we left Vietnam. Well, Nixon had resigned before then. That happened under Gerald Ford, which is the main reason I did not vote for him when he ran to get elected. He served out the end of Nixon's term because he had been appointed as vice president. Gerald Ford was also on the Warren Commission that came up with the magic bullet theory when JFK was shot. The governor of Texas, I'm sorry, his name doesn't come to mind at the moment. He also hit by bullets, and he doesn't believe that this magic bullet went through Kennedy and then went through his body and then turned around and came back and hit another part of his body and turned up on a gurney in the hospital in pristine condition. Speaking of which, I totally missed the anniversary of Kennedy's assassination. We had so many public figures assassinated in the 60s, starting with Medgar Evers in June of 63, and then JFK, the president, in November 22, 1963. And his brother Bobby was killed in 68, supposedly by a lone gunman. Let's see, we lost Jimi Hendrix and Janis Joplin and Dorothy Kilgallen. She announced that she was a darn good reporter and an author, and she announced that her new book would blow the lid off of what really happened in the Kennedy assassination. Well, she died supposedly of an overdose of sleeping pills mixed with alcohol. That was a fishy story. And the book never appeared. The manuscript disappeared. Let's see, who else was killed? Oh, Malcolm X, a radical activist. But when he decided that violence was not the answer and peaceful protest was better, he was shot dead. Oh, and Martin Luther King Jr. Marilyn Monroe, yeah, she might have been knocked off too. Her death is really a strange story. Supposedly she was depressed because John Kennedy ended his affair with her and she was stuck with Bobby Kennedy to kind of take up the slack. Her whole life story is rather tragic. She goes from an orphan in foster care to a blonde bombshell movie star. And by the way, she was a bleach blonde. She was really a brunette. A sex symbol. The only movie I can think of is Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend. She had several marriages that just didn't work out. One was a playwright, and I should know his name, but I've forgotten that too. Oh, Karen Smallwood, yeah. But the playwright wrote a play about her in which he really trashed her, and it wasn't fair. It was a thinly disguised depiction of Marilyn Monroe under another name. Karen Smallwood, I believe she's the one who revealed the pollution. I'm really vague on that. Let's see if Google will help me out. Because that's an important one. An environmental activist who actually became an attorney in order to press her case. What? Google is not my friend. It's claiming that she murdered somebody. Anyway, she was only 67 when she died. That must be a different Karen Smallwood. Google is not my friend. Oh, it's Silkwood. That's the problem. Sorry. Karen Silkwood. Why did I think Smallwood? Sorry about that. Silkwood. Karen Silkwood. Wow. Yeah, she was killed November 13, 1974. Apparently poisoned. And this nuclear facility was poisoning the environment, and people were dying of cancer. She died in a mysterious car crash, Tim says. Whistleblower, environmentalist. Anyway, she studied the law because she needed to represent her cause. All right. I put my cigarette lighter somewhere and this darn thing went out. What have I done with it this time? Is the universe telling me not to smoke? Ha! Found it. Okay. Silkwood. I think she was a good environmentalist, not a tree hugger who thinks that it's a good idea to let a forest die and not take care of it, especially the forests in California, which were mostly planted, overplanted, because the loggers planned to come back and cut down the trees. So our forests are overgrown. The land cannot support that many trees. But oh, don't cut down my trees. How dare you? And so the trees die. They get weak. They can't fight off bark beetles and various fungal diseases and so forth. They can't get enough water. They can't get enough nutrients. Many trees can't even get enough sunlight. They're overcrowded. But how dare you cut them down? Apparently, YouTube doesn't mind if I talk about forests. And so we had that huge fire in California. As far as I know, it is still not completely out. Up in Northern California, at one point it was threatening Lake Tahoe. Well, the Forest Service had not been allowed to clear brush and dead trees. Dry brush, dead trees. Perfect recipe for a wildfire that gets out of control. Oh, but it's because of global warming. Do you realize that we are still in the ice age? This planet needs to get warmer, and it isn't happening. Yes, some islands will probably, they don't sink. The water level rises. Other islands will form because of the major driver of global warming, which is undersea volcanoes that form islands like Hawaii. I gotta have a mint. I have coffee and cigarette breath. Anyway, I am all for protecting the environment. I am against government doing it because they always do it wrong and they make a bad situation worse. There's a whole bunch of ads now, for example, from the oil companies. Why do we have abundant energy? Why are we able to generate electricity for our homes and pipe gas into our homes? Natural gas, the cleanest burning petroleum fuel we have for cooking and heating. And it's much more efficient than electricity, where you have to burn the gas to make the electricity and then send the electricity to your homes and businesses. And at each stage along the way, entropy creeps in. Some of the energy is lost because that's how the universe works. Why do we have natural gas? And by the way, many fleets of buses and trucks and so forth have converted to burning either natural gas or propane because it's clean. Makes a lot more sense than burning gasoline, but it has its problems too. Oh, well, this mug, it isn't that big, it just looks like it, but it's water. I finished my coffee before I started this video. I do use a filtered pitcher for when I'm going to drink straight water. It tastes better. But I cook and make coffee with the stuff from the tap. Hi, Oswald. Anyway, mints. Junior mints. It's ridiculous. The forest is an especially important topic to me because I live in a forest. The San Bernardino National Forest. About 70 miles east of Los Angeles in Southern California. San Bernardino, by the way, is the Old West. Some of Wyatt Earp's relatives are buried here. Wyatt Earp was a marshal, I think, in Colton. His family owned a saloon in San Bernardino. And you know, there's a lot of Old West history here. The county of Riverside was part of San Bernardino County, but they split off because they didn't like all those drunks in San Bernardino. They were mostly teetotalers in Riverside. And even after that, well, originally San Bernardino broke off from Los Angeles County. But even after losing that huge slab of land called Riverside, San Bernardino is still larger than some states in both land area and population. And it's known as the most corrupt county in the nation. This won't be long, Oswald. I'm just rambling a bit, and you want to watch a stream on Thomas Carlyle. That sounds interesting. I'm going to get off real soon. Minute or two. Because it's Saturday. But I'll see you all on Tuesday. Sometime in the morning, Pacific time. 7 or 8, I guess. Let me type my little sign off. Thank you all for listening and have a great day. And enjoy the stream, Oswald. Bye. Oh, a Greta Day? That's great. Great. Got it. Thanks a lot. Love you all. Bye.